With the Kohler K91 on pause, I do really kind of want to get this workbench cleaned off so that I can use it for other things, and it is currently covered in engines. Well, again, the Kohler on pause. The next one I think I want to tackle is this copper one. I think that one I can get running fairly easily as far as I know. And if I need parts, I'll steal them off the black one. And the white one is probably, if it's savable at all, it's a major project. So, 3 horsepower, little copper 90 series.
Broken roads, desert dust bowl sun, where the billman will call you almost every week.
As is most often the case, we'll have to start with some degree of analysis. Where are we at? It is, where are the numbers? They're over here. We have, 80202, so it's 8 cubic inch. 0015 7504 0103. So it's a 1975. Looks very complete. Turns over just fine. What more can you ask for? Wow. That's the nicest one of those I've seen in a long time. Oops. Air filter is predictably crumbly. Oh dear. That looks more like ATF than fuel, but I don't think it's too rusty. Definitely no spark. Quite full of oil. It's not even that nasty. I mean, we'll give it fresh oil, of course. Our biggest problem right now is spark, or lack thereof. And that is under there. How many of these covers have we pulled off over the years together, huh? Let's just get this out of the way too. I imagine we'll be pulling this fuel tank off. But there we are. Oh, I think this is going to be screamy. We have a pretty wicked gap there. Let's see if adjusting that up does anything. No such luck. It was worth a try. Alright, that didn't fight very hard at all. Ta-da! We're at the points. Wouldn't it be funny if they were missing? Well, they're not. There's our points. And they are opening and closing. We're going to clean them up. Gap's a bit tight. And so to adjust that, we actually move the condenser here. There we go. That's a nice 20 thou. All right. All right. We're missing one of the ball bearings. I stole one off the parts engine. So hopefully now I might see some spark. Still no spark. I have the other style coil. It's not going to work for us. That's different. This won't work at all. This one has no wire to the points. Rather fortunate to have another spare parts engine. All that, and it's a ever so slightly different size. Well, not for nothing. Sorry about the furnace noise, but it's nice and warm in here, so we're just gonna deal with it. So I tried to pull the coil off of the 86 Briggs engine there for testing to see if, like, I just want to see why I don't have spark. But that one's got a magnetron ignition. Maybe I could convert this one over to the full magnetron, swap the flywheel over and the coil and everything, but I don't know if I really want to. It feels sort of like cheating. It feels not authentic. So I pulled down a 13 series horizontal shaft off of the shelf over there, and the coil looks really similar but doesn't fit on the post. These posts are slightly further apart. But, you know, being a hoarder has its pluses, and I remembered that I have one more potential parts victim. This engine I picked up years ago. It was for sale. I went and picked it up. It's missing a ton of parts. I really just grabbed it for the cover for Scott, but he ended up not needing it. It's an 80212, 1976 vintage, so we're right in the ballpark. And really, it's in worse shape than that thing. So I don't mind using this to save that. Let's just see. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. We're not hurting anything, just leaving this as a display piece. We can we can kind of remove its guts, and that'll be just fine. The plug end on this coil wire is not very good, but it looks like it's in really good shape, and it looks the same as that, even more importantly. So let's get in and get this out. This cover maybe's never been off. There we go. All right. Oh, I definitely saw a spark there. Yes, we have spark. Great. Probably just only sparking because I just ordered a coil off Amazon, so I guess we're canceling that. All right. Well, let's get into the fuel here. This could be interesting. Yummy. That's a little gross. Coming apart remarkably well. Huh. Awesome. Cool. Good progress today. We got spark, which I'm really happy. I got to cancel that Amazon order, and yeah, everything's kind of working out, so sweet. Got the engine, fuel tank, air cleaner, pretty much everything's washed up and ready to put back together. And I do intend to paint it. I do have some, it's not quite the right copper, but it will work. I haven't really done a restoration on an engine for a while, so I think this is as good as any. But of course, before any of that, we need to answer that age-old question, will it run? I do have new diaphragms, which I bought way back when I was helping Scott at Cold War Motors with his old Toro lawnmower, the Whirlwind. And so I bought a 10-pack. So I got some of those left over, which is great. Can assemble this carb and then start putting this thing together, I guess. And hopefully by tomorrow, the fuel tank, which I hosed out with a pressure washer, will be dried out enough to put gas in it, and then we can see if it runs. Where is, I just had it, oh, it got knocked way over there. Spring seat towards the gasket. This little ring just protects the diaphragm / gasket. On we go. You really don't want to over torque these fellas because you can warp this cover, and then, well, then it's going to leak. As you can see, there's a lot of varnish in there, and when I tried to dry out what I thought was water with the heat gun, it actually kind of cooked some of it a little bit. So I'm told that seafoam will actually dissolve this, so I'm going to pour some in, and I guess we'll find out. The weird things we come up with. This fuel tank doesn't fit, obviously, in the ultrasonic cleaner. The seafoam, after sitting for a couple of hours, didn't seem to touch anything. So I thought, well, how can I bring the ultrasonic cleaning power to the fuel tank? And this is what I've come up with. So I've got it filled with water right to the bottom. Yes, the water's pretty dirty. I do need to change it out. But I don't really care because it's not cleaning this tank. It's just inducing the ultrasonic vibrations into the fluid that's in the tank. I tried the nuts inside there and shaking it, and it didn't do anything. So right now I have the seafoam inside there, as well as some, I don't know, simple green and, yeah, simple green in there. And it's just working away, and I think it's going to help. So ultimately, because it's a Briggs, it draws fluid not from the bottom of the tank, but from above the bottom of the tank. So what's in the bottom it's important, but it's less critical than in other engines where it draws fuel from the bottom. So if a little bit stays behind, like basically as good as this gets after half an hour or so in here, that's going to be good enough. I'll just clean it out the rest of the way and then attach it to this engine and the carb and everything else and see if it runs. Good morning, everybody. It is the next day, and it's a really nice sunny day out there, actually, but it's ridiculously cold. Anyway, my trick yesterday worked really quite well. All that varnish is gone. There's a bit of surface rust just from the water evaporating out, but I'm not too concerned about that. It looks so much better. All right, a couple gaskets whipped up. Carb to tank and just carb to block. Especially the carb to tank was extremely hard and stiff. So it had to go. It's unfortunate I have two different pieces of hardware for the carb, and this one is, I believe, correct. What are you gonna do? Ah! Ow! All right, couple things knocked off the list. Mama Cat's not home yet. I think that justifies giving this a try. Got fresh fuel in here, about half a tank, and I wonder if I should wire that throttle open. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully this won't take much. Choke on. Typical Briggs. We might need a little bit of help from Dr. Pepper, just because these Briggs take a long time to draw fuel up into themselves. Might be a screamer. Well, I better not spend any more time on this. Not at the moment. Curious to know if the diaphragm's actually pumping or not. Could be that pickup, I didn't pull that pickup out. Maybe it's bad. Don't mind the furnace noise. It's cold today. I've mentioned before how these Briggs pick up fuel here and pump it into here. This little cup is like a bowl, and that is dry. That has not yet seen fuel. So we're not pumping, we're not picking up, we're not depositing, we're not pumping. And these passages are clear, but these are dry, 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 dry. That's pretty plugged up. That's probably why. Just can't suck enough through this screen. Let's put this back together. I have some confidence now, because there was definitely a bit of schmutz in that screen, that pickup screen. Well, I backed the nut out. And still no fuel out of the pump. The pump is just not working. Well, I'm brimming with confidence now. No, not really, but I did notice that if I put this cover on here, and I've talked about this before, this is a common problem, and I looked for a gap, I could see light. So I did my draw filing, sanding trick and got these a lot closer fitting. I also noticed that if I put air into this port, which connects to here, and there was still a bit of residual fuel and whatever in here, it was bubbling around here where it goes in. So I put some fuel resistant sealant around it, and basically that amounts to 2 places where we're losing suction to suck fuel up into the pump and then into the other bowl. So I'm going to put that side back together, put it back on the engine, rig up that little bottle again, that bottle of Dr. Pepper like before, and hopefully when we turn the engine over, we'll see fuel coming out of this port right here. Now we're pumping. Just takes a while. All right, I can't resist trying it. Sounds screamy, but it did run. Call that a runner. I call that a runner.